When we think about the school-to-prison pipeline, what we're really talking about is the philosophical shift that's happened in K-12 education and how we respond to juvenile misbehavior. We've gone from a system when I was in school where you got in trouble, you would receive detention or suspension, to a system now with the inclusion of law enforcement who serve as school resource officers who initially were brought into schools, ironically, to improve community and police relationships. We have little kids who are actually being socialized in a way that teach them that they cannot be children, that they cannot make adolescent mistakes. Everyday things that children do, a lot of them are ending up getting incarcerated. And we see that race and class and trauma are the primary things that inform who ends up into the school-to-prison pipeline. The kids who are disproportionately caught in this pipeline are kids who have been traumatized, and that informs their behavior when they get into classrooms. The poor kids who don't have the kind of supportive environment as they try to process their feelings, their emotions, the complexities of the learning environment. And they're also the kids who are caught up in the foster care system. When I was pastoring in Oakland, California, one of the things that I learned were 70% of the people who were in the criminal justice system in the state of California came out of the foster care system. And so when we're talking about the kids who are caught up in the school-to-prison pipeline, we're talking about children whom are coming oftentimes from underfunded, antiquated, lowly invested in education environments, and they're being shipped off to brand new, earmarked, state-of-the-art prisons. The National Education and Policy Center has found that 95% of people who are arrested for offenses within school are arrested for non-violent offenses. I'm gonna keep coming back to that because there is a narrative that's out there and it's not factually based. When we look at this chart, dark blue represents Black people, and you can see that in each of these measures, it's double whatever the next population is in regards to the number of students who are impacted by this. There are 12 states in our nation that have no minimum age for trying juveniles as adults. There are a series of overlooked pipelines that are funneling people into our criminal justice system. One of the most overlooked pipelines is the war on immigration. The war on immigration is a war that has not been officially coined as such, but has direct parallels to the war on drugs. And when you look at the allocation of earmarked dollars and special task force that are designated explicitly to enforce this criminal offense, when we think about the correlation between private prisons and immigration, 90% of immigrants who are housed in our nation for immigration offenses are housed within private prisons. Private prisons have become so profitable, in large part because of the war on immigration, that an executive for SunTrust in 2007 said that private prisons will be one of the most secure and lucrative investments that a person can make on the stock market. Private prisons is one of the most bought and sold stock on Wall Street today. And in 2011, the two largest private prisons in our nation made $3.3 billion. When we think about this, particularly for our immigrant brothers and sisters today, in the midst of the separation of families at the border, children as young as 3 years old who've been separated from their parents, forced to stand in front of a court of law and try to represent themselves on their own terms, we have to see that this system is ethically and morally bankrupt.